Good evening, and welcome to this evening's Select Board meeting. It is Tuesday, April 1st, 2025, and it is 7 p.m. My name is Tiffany Needham, and it is my pleasure to welcome you. Please be advised that this open meeting is being broadcast live and recorded for playback by WRPS at youtube.com/WRPS Rockland. Please go to WRPSRockland.com for further information. Please also be advised that the open meeting law gives the chair of a public body discretion to decide if public comment will be permitted, but the law does not require that a public body allow public comment or public participation during its meeting. Select Board Member Shortle, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next, we have community announcements. Doug?
Thanks, Tiffany. So a few announcements tonight. The first is that the winter parking ban from the police chief has been lifted as of today, April 1st. So the winter parking ban is done for the season. Next, just a reminder about the annual town election ballot and the early voting dates. So there's a couple things I want to highlight here. So the first is early voting dates. So starting tomorrow, Wednesday, April 2nd, through Friday, April 4th, it'll be 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. here in Town Hall in this room, top floor conference room. Saturday, April 5th, 9 to 3 p.m. And then Monday through Wednesday next week, April 7th through 9th, 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. And then relating to the ballot, I did want to highlight one thing from the town clerk, which is that one person who had been serving on the planning board, Mr. James Wells, got his nomination papers. He did everything right, got all the signatures, turned them in on time. Everything, from his end was fine. However, it turns out there was a problem with the form that we provided him. There's a typographical error on it. And so the clerk has checked with the state, and unfortunately, because of that typographic error that was not the fault of Mr. Wells, his name was not able to be printed on the ballot. It's an uncontested race, but I did want to let folks know that he is still interested in having a write-in. I'm obviously not endorsing any candidates for any position, but this is a unique situation where the individual did everything right, got the proper signatures that were all certified, again, because of a typo on the form. He wasn't able to be listed on the ballot, but I wanted to let the community know about that. So hopefully that's clear.
To write Mr. Wells in, we'd have to put his address to.
No,
we don't? Okay.
Yep,
Very good.
just James Wells.
Okay.
So I wanted to highlight that. And then next, our town planner is going to be doing 3 public information sessions on the zoning bylaw amendments that are going to be presented at town meeting. The first one was actually earlier tonight here in Town Hall. The next is April 3rd at 1 o'clock at the library, and then the next is April 4th at 2 p.m. at the Senior Center. So I'd encourage anyone that's interested in the zoning articles to attend those outreach meetings. If they're not able to make those dates or times, please feel free to contact Allison Quinn, the town planner at Town Hall. She'll be happy to talk to anyone that has any questions or wants to learn more about that. Next, I wanted to remind voters about the fire station building project and the ladder truck that's on the ballot on April 12th at our annual town election, and it'll be presented at town meeting. And we'll be doing another public outreach meeting on the fire station project on Wednesday, April 9th at 7 p.m. at the high school lecture hall. I believe that one will be recorded and be played back by WRPS, so if you're not able to attend, you can watch the recording. And then lastly, the Community Cleanup Day, that will be on April 26th, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It can meet at Town Hall at 9 o'clock to get instructions and supplies, etc. And I know Jean Blaney's here. Later on, we'll be talking about recreation activities. She might have more to add on that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the review and approval of the minutes from March 18th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? And that's unanimous. Next, we have new business. The appointment of to the Cultural Council. Is Roxana Capiella here today? Hi, come on up.
Yep, I just take a seat, yep.
Thank you and welcome. If you could please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about why you would like to join the Cultural Council.
Sure. So my name is Roxana Capiel. I am a 7-year resident of Rockland. My daughter was born here in town, well, here in Massachusetts, but she is also a resident of Rockland, and I kind of wanted to be a part of something where I could help her grow and develop as a little person turning into a grown-up in this world. So when I saw that there was a position open for the Cultural Council, I thought, what better way to help shape my daughter outside of raising her to be a good person than to help by being part of the council and just really seeing what else we could do to make things better for all our kids in this town. So I work as a product owner for I don't know how many people know, Commonwealth Care Alliance. It is a not-for-profit health insurance plan for dual eligible seniors and folks with disabilities. So come from a nonprofit background. I'm a former AmeriCorps Vista. And yeah, I've lived in Massachusetts for 15 years now, though I am originally from New York. Can I say go Yankees and not?
I wouldn't recommend.
No, I think we're doing
Good,
good.
right up.
Should we strike that from the minutes?
Yeah, I know, I think so.
But I actually am a big fan of the Red Sox just because with my nonprofit background, they've been a big source of support for all the organizations that I've worked for. So it's kind of the driving factor for Red Sox Nation in our house.
Wonderful. And your application has been reviewed and approved by the Cultural Council. Do we have any questions from the board?
Just have a comment. You seem like you have a huge heart.
Thank you.
If you really want to do some good stuff here, so thank you for applying.
Wonderful. And with that, do I have a motion to approve the appointment of Roxana Capella to the Cultural Council?
Motion to appoint?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the one-day liquor license for Players Sports Bar and Grill, Veterans Memorial Stadium. April 26, 2025. Hello, Jean and
Hi.
Olivia.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good. So I'd like to welcome Olivia to the role of event manager. So this is the first time that she'd be presenting the liquor license. So you'll be seeing her a little bit more. Unfortunately, Allison had to resign, so Olivia's decided to step in that role. So be kind. It's her first one. So we are having our adult egg hunt. Go ahead. Tell them all about it.
All right, so Adult Egg Hunt, April 26th, a night of prizes, music, drinks, it's a good time.
Food trucks.
Food truck as well. So it's at the stadium, and it's 7 to 9?
6:30.
6:30 to 9:30, sorry. I didn't know I'd be talking tonight. She just told me. And yeah, we hide over 3,000 black eggs in the stadium. Every egg has a ticket. We turn the lights off. Everybody hunts with flashlights, headgear, whatever. You can capture as many eggs as you want or not, and the tickets match up to some of the amazing prizes that we have. And we're here to see, players can be a part of a good time.
Great. Do we have any questions? I know all your paperwork's in order, so do I have a motion to approve the one-day liquor license for April 26, 2025, 6:30 to 9:30 for the Rec Department Adult Easter Egg Hunt Program?
Motion to approve one day liquor license.
And do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You can stay.
All right, and then next we have the Recreation Department update with Jean Blaney, Recreation Director, and Olivia, the event manager.
So I'd like to thank you for inviting me to speak about the Recreation Department. As you know, I have always a lot to say and a lot to tell you about. We have a lot going on. But tonight, I'd like to first start off to talk about our efforts for our mental health awareness campaign for the month of May. And if you don't mind, I'm going to look down and up because I wrote it all down just so I wouldn't forget anything, which is not really normally what I do. But so May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and as we usually focus on children's mental health awareness, we decided this year to broaden our focus and really focus on the whole entire month and outreach for everyone in the community. So I reached out to assemble a team of people that I'm so fortunate to work with. I would just like to personally thank all the dedicated team that we have behind this initiative, and if you don't mind, I'm just going to read their names for you. Courtney, our Assistant Town Administrator, she provides so much guidance for me and help behind the scenes that people don't really know about, so thank you, Courtney. Julie and Effie from the Council on Aging, they have some great programs planned for the month of May. Deli and Kathy Ryan from the Board of Health, they helped to assist us in putting together resources for the community. I'll go through all of that later. Freya Leahy from the Rockland Public Schools, too, assisted with some great ideas and the resources. Liz, our library director, she put together a nice program. WRPS, Lisa Breen with Christine, and I know I'm going to get a last, or Terry, and Jonah Pishkin. I'll tell you what they're doing in a few minutes. Julia Constantino from the Brockton Area Collaborative, her group, and of course my recreation staff, Olivia, Katie, and Christine, who without them I would be nowhere. So we've united together around the message, be kind to your mind. Mental health isn't just as important as physical health, yet it's overlooked and stigmatized. Our role is to change the raising awareness through education and promoting self-care. This year's theme encourages us to show ourselves the same kindness that we give to others. It's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to ask for help, and to take time to heal. We must work together to break the stigma around mental health. There is no shame in seeking help or discussing challenges. To support the community, we've organized various resources and programs. A calendar of events, which are in your packets, will be available on the town website as well as social media. You also can certainly contact us and we'll either email you or send you a paper version. We're offering mental health first aid training at the high school, which is a program for parents, educators, or caretakers, and really anyone that's interested. So there are actually two programs. It's adult mental health training and children's mental health training. They're different, but yet the same. We actually, as a department, just went through children's mental health training, and I can tell you that we've learned so much. Just when you thought you knew about a subject, you just learned so much more. So I encourage everyone to attend. Council on Aging will host a speaker from the Mass Behavioral Health Line. WRPS will air Mindful Mondays. It's a PSA with former Rockland High School student Christine O'Terry and Jonah Pishkin, and those will air Mondays at 8 a.m., noon, and 4 p.m. In addition, we'll have a table at the Arts Festival to kind of kick everything off with lots of information and an interactive art exhibit. We're also offering free workout programs, Council on Aging, at the Council on Aging and Community Center. Liz has organized a guided walk through Hartsuff Park. And as we all know, exercise is a proven way to reduce stress and improve mental health. The adult programs are for all fitness levels, and if you can't attend, then we ask you to consider getting outside. We have lots of great local trails. We have lots of great trails just here in Rockland. But if you're looking for something different, you can certainly Google Trails of the South Shore, or the North and South River Watershed Association they have a fantastic list on their website. So in addition, we've compiled a list of mental health resources that will be available, like I said, on our town website. Whether you're seeking help for yourself, supporting a loved one, these resources can guide you in the next steps. So mental health is about well-being, resilience, growth, and self-care and mindfulness, as well as supporting each other. So as we move through May, I encourage to educate yourself and reach out for support when needed and offer help to others if needed. Together, I believe we can create a stronger, healthier community. So just in closing in this piece of my report, I just want to mention that if you know of anyone that's in crisis, please call 988. It's a 24/7 hotline, and they'll be able to help you, no matter what it is. I know that was heavy. And I know I'm not usually heavy, but I think that we in the Recreation Department, and I think Julie can testify that because we're so forward-facing in the community, we hear a lot of stories. We've talked about it in our meetings with Courtney, that we have people that are in crisis, and I think our initiative this year has really been to try to get these folks help, or at least the best help that we can give them, and point them in the right direction. And I really think that we're going to make a difference this May, and I feel like our different departments have really moved that initiative forward. Okay, now for the fun part. So our Recreation Department has been very busy this year. As you all well know, I've been up here talking to you about our different events, whether they're small or big. So we've had those over the past year, and we're currently trying to kick those off again with Olivia. I'll start with markets. We're going to change our market. It's actually going to be in the front of McKinley. It's going to be smaller. It'll be on Thursdays. And Olivia can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to start at 5:30 at night, and we're going to end at 8 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. So with the support of the police department, we hope that those markets will be just as successful, although they'll be smaller. We're not going to have alcohol at these markets, at least to begin with. We want to test the waters, kind of see how it goes. Olivia's been working diligently on getting those markets filled with vendors. And we hope to start that up in June. So that's kind of our biggest news. Yep. Yeah. This weekend, we actually have our kids' egg hunt. So that'll be at Hartsuff Park, providing it doesn't rain. So yes, I have been watching the weather, which I don't normally do until just before. But in the event that should happen, then we will move it into the gym of McKinley. So stay tuned for more information there. So also over the past year, that we've added to our adult programming. Our adult programming consists of Zumba, pickleball, a Body Blast fitness program, yoga, and line dancing. This past weekend, we also had a pickleball tournament at the Eston School, which was, well, we thought for our first one, it was well attended. We did hand out first, second, and third places. It did get competitive. I was there. Not by me, I wasn't competitive, I didn't play, but it did get competitive. But all with fun was had. People were laughing, giggling, it was a good time. So all of our classes are open up for spring, all of them are open for summer. We are adding a couple of more summer programs, so our Hartsuff Park program, we have a program with the North and South River Watershed Association, we have a baseball program. WRPS is putting together a program which was very successful last year. That program is really amazing. Lisa's done a fantastic job with the kids. Get to learn about television, and they get to learn about radio. They produce all of the content, and this all happens within 4 days. So they get a pedal to the metal version of what it's like to actually take classes. We'll have archery, drama, and I'm sure a little bit more than that. I think that's right. I just wanted to say, I don't know if you've been on social media, but we had 2 grannies on the road visit us. So big thank you. Rob Rosa actually set that all up. We had an actual blast with those ladies. They are so nice. So if you ever get a chance to meet them, say a big hi for us. They will actually be at our adult egg hunt, And I was telling Doug that most recently, we had this nice lady register, and she will be attending. She is 79 years old. So it really is truly for everyone, so I hope to see everybody there. I think that kind of gives you the overall picture of what we have going on, what's coming up, what we did in the past. Do you have any questions? No.
Any questions from the board?
Yeah, in May, for Mental Health Awareness Month, do you have the Teen Center involved in?
Yeah, so I didn't actually announce that in my report,
Yeah.
but the Teen Center will have some special not special programming, but we will be handing out information to them. We have some journals, some bullet journals for them, some mood journals for them, things of that nature.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
Thank you.
It really rocks. And I had a chance to speak with two grannies on the road when they highlighted Anita Marie's.
Yeah,
And they really love this town.
yeah.
They,
What's not to love?
well, I know, it's fantastic. So,
Yeah.
thanks for contributing to that.
Sure.
Wonderful. Anything else?
I just want to say how impressed I am with how much this has grown over the years and your role in making this the success that it is. Because, when you first started here, to look how much it's blossomed into what it is. And I think that's an incredible testament to your work ethic and your dedication.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
Yes. I'd like to say ditto. You said it wonderfully, John. But this is incredible, and your events have grown, and they've been such a resource and an amenity for the town, and really fulfilling. Rockland has such heart, and I've always said, and the fact that your department does it with such a small amount of people and a huge amount of heart is always really impressive. And to add the extension of the May Mental Health Awareness is wonderful. So it just really shows how much you, not only do you provide for entertainment and nourishment, but you have nourishment for the soul, which is everything these days. So thank you. And thank you for joining us.
Great. Congratulations, Donna, on your last night, right? Is tonight your last night? Yeah, thank you for everything you've done. Appreciate it. All right, thank you. You too. I'm sure I'll see you.
Yeah, no, I will.
Next, we have other new business not reasonably anticipated.
I have none.
Okay. It's not 7:30 yet, so we should go on.
If you'd like, Tiffany, if you want to wait until 7:30 for the public hearing,
Yep.
I could talk just for a couple of minutes about the warrant, just fill a couple
That'd be
minutes, and then
great.
we'll
Thank you.
start promptly at 7:30. So what is included in your packet is a complete, I shouldn't say complete, but it is a draft of the warrant that has been reviewed by town council. It includes everything except for the updates to the town charter. So Attorney Clifford has been drafting those provisions. He shared it with the Charter Review Committee. They're going to be meeting on Monday night, April 7th. So we want to make sure that everything that John has drafted accurately reflects their latest recommendations, because they have actually changed from when they came in just a couple of weeks ago to give you a report. So what I think we need to do is let the Charter Review Committee have their meeting Monday night. Then later that week, we'll make any additional last-minute language changes. I can also then circulate that final draft with all the different staff, boards and committees, et cetera. So then on your next meeting on April 15th is when you would sign the warrant, and we would post it with a constable the next day on Wednesday, April 16th. So it's a little bit later than I normally like. I usually like to do it now. But we've got to obviously make sure the charter provisions are obviously very important. We want to make sure it accurately reflects what that committee is recommending. So I did put the rest of the warrant in here just in case you had any questions. The only real changes compared to the last version you've seen is I moved a couple things around, moved one thing into the special, updated a couple of numbers from the Community Preservation Act committee. So nothing really substantive, just some minor additions. I'm happy to walk through any of that if you'd like. I'm just kind of stalling for time here at 7:24.
Yeah, any
So
questions?
feel free to help me out. And I guess I would just say that, the order of the articles, I think makes sense in that, the budget is right up at the beginning. That's always the most important article, with all the other financial articles immediately after that. I did move the fire station and the ladder truck up immediately following those, so they're not at the very end like I've done in the past. That was based on feedback from the last time we proposed that. There's several veterans related articles that we talked about before when the veterans agent was here. I'm sure he'll be able to explain those at town meeting if need be. A number of CPA articles at the end, and then batting cleanup is our zoning bylaw amendments. And I did reorder one of the zoning bylaw amendments based on a request from the planning board.
Thank you. And we have a few minutes to go. Is there anything you could touch upon with your FY26 budget?
So I honestly don't have an update to the budget, but what I did prepare, but I'd rather wait until after the public hearing, because I think we'll need a few more minutes, is I have two graphs or charts that I'd like to share that are trying to address a lot of the questions we've received in the community about debt. How much debt do we have? When is debt falling off? What's the new debt service going to look like, et cetera? But it's complicated. There's a lot of information embedded in there, so I'd rather take a few minutes to kind of walk through it. So if we could wait until after the public hearing. But other than that, there's, the final budget is in the warrant, no changes from the last meeting.
Okay, well, great. As it's almost 7:30, I can begin with a roll call vote to enter into the 7:30 continuation of public hearing pursuant to General Law, Chapter 138, Section 64 on potential modification, suspension, revocation, or cancellation of inholder's license to sell alcoholic beverages to wit 167 Union Street, LLC, DBA, The Banner, William T. Barry, manager. With a roll call vote, Select Board Member O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Select Board Member Eller,
Yes.
Select Board Member Shortle,
Yes.
Vice Chair Childs?
Yep.
And me, that is a yes. Okay, thank you. Board John.
Good evening, members of the board. Before we get into business, I also wanted to thank Donna for, it's been a pleasure working with you. We certainly tackled some challenges together, but I really appreciate how much work you put in, and really did enjoy working with you. I enjoy, like, more than most people, a dry sense of humor, so I think that's why we got along pretty well. With respect to the banner, what the board heard a couple of weeks ago was a lot of frustration from the people that perform our inspections and basically make sure our buildings are safe for citizens. In preparation for this meeting, we dug that team together along with Courtney and Allison to talk about where do we stand. We got together, we joined via Zoom yesterday. And candidly, there was no substantive progress towards getting this ready to go. I think there was a strong feeling in the room that the people that have to do these work and interact with Mr. Barry feel like this license should be revoked. And it's hard to argue that that's not warranted under these circumstances. Kicking it down the road a couple of weeks or even a month, I don't think made any sense. After that meeting, we had a phone call with Attorney Sullivan this morning. I think it was a really productive phone call. I will say that I think the biggest concern, putting aside the fact that revocation is warranted under the circumstances, is that taking the liquor license away from that property diminishes the value and increases the likelihood that it will never be rehabbed or brought up to code the way it should be. And I think, given its location, its significance to the town, I think that's a risk. Attorney Sullivan has agreed, and certainly board would like to hear. Attorney Sullivan has agreed, he spoke to his client to do a voluntary 3-month suspension. Now, if the board was so inclined to accept that remedy, we would certainly expect to see substantive progress during that time period. Not papers being filed, actual work being done over the 3 months. That's more than enough time, if not to get the building up to code where it can be reopened. Certainly it's enough time, if the owner is so inclined, to get close to that and show a real commitment to getting it done. I am as skeptical as anybody else in the room that this owner will do that, given his track record here in town. But again, I think the significance to the building and significance to the town, I think the fire department has a lot of real concern of that building not being brought up to code, and for a fire alarm, what that could mean in terms of fire safety for the whole area. So, again, revocation is more than warranted under these circumstances, but it may not be the best answer. But certainly, I don't know, Attorney Sullivan, you wanted to weigh in.
Sure, if I may. For the record, I'm Walter Sullivan, the attorney for the owners of the property. And so I won't go through all the work that has been achieved, and I know it's not as much as the board would have liked, but the truth of the matter is my client took on a property that has been in disrepair for a long, long time, not just under his watch. And just trying to paper Band-Aid this isn't going to make this safe. And my client has obviously come around to that way of thinking. And so it really needs total gutting interior-wise and redoing. So he has hired plumbers, electricians. He's going to work as the general contractor. He has paid for a new alarm design, which was submitted to the deputy fire chief today, and it's an alarm company that is known by the chief in the town. He is motivated because if he doesn't do this, there's no value to that property. There is nobody living there. There is nobody working there. And at least on this board's watch, it's probably as safe as it's ever been because nobody's there and no one's going to be there. If the license were to be revoked, I don't think there'd be any value to the property. It would be negative. The only way my client can recoup any part of his investment is to inject more money into this, which he is prepared to do. He has secured financing. He has gotten a disbursement, which has allowed him to move forward. I think the interest of the town and the Barry family, which plans to operate the banner, are aligned on this issue. He didn't hesitate when I suggested, how long is it going to take? Let's not keep going back every week and irritating the Board of Selectmen. And he said quite candidly, it's going to be 3 months. He does have a design, an as-built design for the fire system. That's a big number. He's doing everything he can. The tenants desperately want to get back in there, but realistically, until all this work is done, including opening up the walls and pulling out the knob and tube, which 2 electricians didn't want to do, it's just not going to be feasible. This is an opportunity for him to start over, for the inspectors in town to review the work, permit it first, review the work, and then decide whether or not someone can go back in. And clearly, Mr. Barry is motivated because he's not getting any money out of that property until this is done. So I think the interest of the town, and I understand, I've heard the frustration from this board and the inspectors, and so has my client. I think that this is the best solution for the town and for my client to take 3 months, get it done properly, and come back here and ask for the suspension to be lifted. So I would ask that the board do that.
One thing I'd like to clarify, the board is acting on the liquor license and the liquor license alone, all right? So all of the enforcement activity will continue, all right? Mr. Barry has committed not to putting anybody in the building until there are appropriate sign-offs by the building commissioner and the Board of Health. The fire department's enforcement activity will continue, and it has to be a priority to get a functioning fire alarm in that building, just for everybody's safety. But The board's action, if you were so inclined to accept the 90-day voluntary suspension, does not toll or inhibit or impede the ongoing inspectional process.
Thank you. Do we have any comments from the board?
Yeah, I mean,
Questions?
I said a couple weeks ago that I was prepared to revoke this license if I didn't feel satisfied that progress was being made based on the information that we'd received prior to this point. It didn't seem as though progress really had been being made, but I'm comfortable with the fact that the attorneys have had conversations and they seem to have a plan, a path to go forward, and I am in complete agreement with them that the value in that property is the liquor license. And as it is a historical building on the town, and it is a restaurant in the center of our town, we, I think, as a board, would prefer that that property remain viable and active, and not turn into, further fire risk, or, a vacant building that would just be a complete eyesore. And to Attorney Clifford's point and Attorney Sullivan's point, if there is no liquor license that's attached to that property, then there's no interest in that property from anybody purchasing that property. So we would really be cutting off our nose to spite our face in this case right now. My bigger concern is we're talking 3 months, and we haven't hit any deadlines up to this point. Obviously the inspectional, teams are going to be out there, and I assume that they're going to be putting together some deadlines for him to meet some of these progress steps throughout the course of it. I've asked for guarantees in the past. I never have gotten any guarantees that have come to fruition. I'd be comfortable with the 90 days, but I'd also, if Attorney Sullivan, if you'd be amenable to it, and through the chair, possibly, give us a brief update, of what we hear, or Attorney Clifford, from the inspectional teams as far as where the progress is, because this is one of those things that I don't want to sit back here and 89 days from now we're getting, hey, can we get 2 more months because nothing started yet. And I'm seeing social media posts where it's like, hey, we're great things are coming. We got a lot of stuff going on here at the Banner. We're about to be back open, and it's like, it's putting us up in a position where we're the bad guys here. We did nothing wrong. We're protecting the residents here. So that can end. As far as the residents that are in the building, that were in the building, it's our job to protect the residents in that case as well. And I think some of the messaging is being put out there that we're taking this action against the Barry family for other reasons, when in reality, and I understand they inherited a situation where the building wasn't in great shape. It was an old building, and there's a lot of issues with it, and things cost money, and they cost even more and more money today. But we're being put into a position here where our inspectional teams are being blamed for doing their jobs correctly. And I think in this case, had Mr. Barry worked openly and honestly with the inspectional service teams, we probably wouldn't be in this place right now. They'd continue to give him more time as long as progress was being made and deadlines were being hit. So that's I guess my biggest concern is that I want to make sure that progress is being made. I don't want to come back in here 3 months from now and say, oh well, we need more time. So.
Well, certainly we'd be willing to come back and report to the board, work through Mr. Clifford, whatever is the pleasure of this board.
Yeah, I would like to hear from Deputy Chief Amy.
Yeah, me too.
your-
He was
So
baking
as
cakes in the
of
back there.
possible-
so.
Sorry, as of 6:30 today, the fire department has not received fire alarm plans from Mr. Beck. I spoke to AFA Alarm Company that is doing the work.
He received the plans from Mr. Barry, schematics of the building, to start building his fire alarm system. He said he's not absolutely sure when he can get me a copy of those plans and when the work will continue. So as of now, 3 weeks into this, we have a schematic of a building he's owned for 2 years with no fire alarm plan and no time frame on when we're moving forward.
And that's going to be priority number one, regardless whether there's residents involved, because as we discussed it before, there's not just that building, there's a couple buildings next to it. If something were to happen, we could lose an entire, block in this town, which has residents in those other buildings. So that's got to be first priority. And again, 3 weeks ago, we've been talking about this for a while now, that stuff, that should have been recognized as a priority. That's the reason why people aren't in there, because it's a fire hazard. So
I'll follow up with Mr. Sheehan. I thought plans had been forwarded. Now I'm understanding it's schematics, so it's my understanding Mr. Sheehan wanted us to do a site for survey, and then get plans to the deputy chief, and I'll personally follow up with that.
Yeah, and also, I walk the rail trail in the morning with my sister-in-law, and we see lights on in the banner at like 6:15, 6:20 a.m. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I was forwarded a picture of a light, and Mr. Barry assures me that nobody has stayed there since he relocated the residence. He believes that a light was left on during one of the inspections. A picture of a light was sent to me. So that's the only explanation I have. He does go in every morning. He tells me nobody has spent the night there. And the picture that I got, Mr. Barry reports to me that it's of a room that doesn't have a bed in it, that nobody has been staying there.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, so if we do agree to this 90-day voluntary suspension, what happens, say, a month from now and the fire alarm hasn't been done? Are we locked into staying to that 90 days, or can we come back and end this earlier than that?
I think as long as good faith measures are being taken, I mean, if it's something where, the plans to have it done, but it's say the contractor can't make it out, I mean, then that's obviously
Right.
not on them. And I think it would become whatever the comfort of the deputy chief as far as the inspectors go, and we base that on their recommendation. But I think, we could
yeah,
revisit at any point. during
That
this
was my
time,
question, if we're locked into 90 days or not, or if we do have the ability to shorten it if we're not happy with what we're seeing.
During our meeting yesterday, we talked about the fact, and the fire department is gonna continue fining. Deputy Chief, what's the amount we're fining per day?
$2,000 per 24 hours.
$2,000 per day, and there's a possibility that they can seek criminal sanctions on this. This is, obviously nothing.
Neglect.
It's, that's not strictly a licensing issue, but I think if you wanted to, and certainly, if we report that there's not substantive progress 30, 60 days, as long as council agrees, we'll reopen the hearing. But I think the fire alarm has to be the priority, absolutely has to be. But it's not just a license issue. That's costing him a lot of money just for dragging his feet up to this point.
Okay.
Now, anyone from the public have any questions or comments, or any of the department's heads want to give some feedback additionally? Okay. With that said,
Actually, hold on one second. I just want to go back to real quick. You said that Mr. Barry was going to be the general contractor on site.
He has been the the contractor of record on the permits. There's 3 permits that have issued for Mr. Rubel that I know are in his name.
So I'm not sure that that's really worked out to this point. I think I'd be more comfortable if there was a different general contractor, and maybe he's just the person that they report back to, as opposed to him being in the weeds himself doing the work. I think it'd be a better situation and better oversight than having somebody else do the work and not taking shortcuts.
I can speak to him. Obviously, there's a plumber, an electrician, and a fire alarm that are pulling all those permits, but I'll speak to Mr. Barry about that.
all right, and Tom?
I have all the permits that were pulled here. I just want to make sure that we're aware that before I can do my final inspections on these permits, that we need to have electrical permits pulled. Electrical permits are pulled, electrical permits get inspected, then I come in to do my final. I have probably 7 open permits here, Bill, okay? I have one here on a drawing that you had said that the drawing has to be revamped because we did something over and above while the permit was issued on Unit 6 and Unit 7, remember the bathroom? You had told me that this drawing isn't what you exactly did, so I need an update on that, right?
Yep.
Okay, so just because permits were pulled, we still need inspections. And I can't do any inspections until you get the wiring straightened out with it. And I just got an email from John, the electrical inspector, that somebody's gonna get in touch with him. You had somebody in there looking at wiring today? And yeah, Mr. Burke. And I'm gonna meet with you Thursday at 2 o'clock in my office, right?
Yep.
I mean, this particular building, in the amount of work that needs to be done, I think all of us driving up and down Union Street are gonna see whether something's being done or not. And I think in 30 days, 60 days, if the board wants to reopen it, I would encourage you to do so. But it's, you know, what's happened up to this point is there's kind of a flurry of paper activity just before one of these meetings. You know, I think it's a waste of the board's time, it's a waste of the staff time to come to these meetings. I mean, they're either gonna do the work or not, and, you know, it's on them. But the board shouldn't have to get into these kinds of details, you know, so, I mean, I think the 90 days puts the burden where it should be on him, and I think, you know, we can, and I'll stay in touch with Attorney Sullivan to get 30-day updates. He'll report back to the board. If you're so inclined to put it back in the agenda, we should do that. But I think driving by, we're gonna know whether they're making promises or they're actually doing work.
Thank you. With that, may I have a roll call vote to close the 7:30 continuation of public hearing? Select Board Member O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Select Board Member Eller?
Yes.
Select Board Member Shortle?
Yes.
Vice Chair Childs?
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That is closed. With that
Make a
said-
motion to approve the 90-day suspension that's been agreed upon with, 30-day updates from Attorney Clifford.
Do I have a second?
Yep, I'll second that.
All right, roll call vote. Select Board Member O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Select Board Member Eller?
Yes.
Select Board Member Shortle?
Yes.
Vice Chair Childs?
Yep.
And I am also a yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
That brings us, thank you. That brings us to other old business not reasonably.
Actually, we'll go back to the budget and I'll do the.
Okay, thank you.
And while they're exiting, I'm gonna go over, sit over there and get the
Oh, that's right, we have our
computer going.
graphs. Thank you. Just testing you. Okay.
Okay, so as I was indicating earlier, given the number of projects that we're currently proposing to voters, there's been a lot of questions about debt that's quote-unquote falling off the books and what our debt load would look like with what's been proposed. Theirs are generally not quick and simple answers because there's a lot of underlying data beneath this, but I worked with our financial team and our financial advisors to put two things together that I hope will give some useful information in a way that's easily understandable. So this first chart is called Existing and Proposed Net Debt Service. So what I want to be clear on here is this is debt, whether it's inside our levy limit or outside the levy limit. This does not include things that are self-sustaining. For example, debt from in the water department or sewer department that's paid through rates. This is just tax-supported debt. So, and I'm trying to figure out with my reading glasses and sitting far away how this is going to work, but I'm going to do my best. So on the left-hand side here, this y-axis, this is the amount of the town's annual debt service, and the dollars are in thousands. So when it says 6,000 or 7,000, these are not tax bills. This has nothing to do with taxes. This is $6 million and $7 million in debt service that the town has to pay. And again, debt service is just a fancy way of saying, kind of like the mortgage, your house mortgage, it's your, the bill you have to pay to pay off the debt. So this is the amount of debt, and then these are fiscal years along the x-axis on the bottom. So this large kind of, I don't know if that's like a peach or pink sort of color, I have a little difficulty with some of my colors, so Courtney's giving me the nod. This is one of the largest ones, and you can see down here, it says total existing tax-supported exempt debt. So that means these are all debt exclusions. So these would be for things like roads, schools, things like that, where, voters voted through a Prop 2.5 debt exclusion. So you can see how there's a gradual decline and then a very steep decline in 2035. So that's our current existing debt. Now the green here is South Shore Tech school debt exclusion that recently passed at our special election. Now the purple is also the South Shore Tech project, and I want to explain this because I was kind of grappling, going back and forth with how best to show this, because if you remember when we were talking about this project, there's some different assumptions. I've always been more conservative with our current share of debt, which is approximately 21%. That's what's reflected in green. This is assuming, in the green is the 18.5. This is where my glasses are. Glasses are coming in. Yeah, here we go. The green is the 18.5% share, which is what South Shore Tech is projecting our share will ultimately get to. And then I overlaid on top of that, in purple, the additional amount that would bring it up to 21%. So what this means is, currently today, we're about 21% of our enrollment, which means we'd have 21% of the debt. Rather than just show 21% the whole way, we split it up because, again, South Shore Tech believes it will drop at some point in the future down to the 16.85%. But I'm showing both just to be transparent, because to be conservative, you could look at both the green and purple combined, or at some point, hopefully it'll just get down to the green. So I know I kind of stumbled around that a little bit, but I just split up basically into two layers because there's some unknowns, some uncertainty in what our share is going to be. Up here in this red little spike, this is the 1-year proposed capital outlay expenditure exclusion for the ladder truck and the fire department. And then in orange, this is the proposed $26.1 million debt exclusion for the fire station. So you can see we're at here right now. This is our debt load. You'd see if the two proposals pass, the ladder truck and the fire station project, you'd see in the first year, FY26, there's that 1-year spike to raise the $2 million for the ladder truck. That immediately disappears the next year. Then you can see South Shore Tech starting to hit after that, and then the fire station after that. Then if you, again, assuming everything passes, if you follow our debt service, you see a significant drop in 2035. And that's because of our drop in our existing debt falling off. And then I overlaid this little black dotted line across and down to show this is where we're at right now. And if all this passes, and if everybody can make it for 10 more years, you'll see even with everything passing and all these increased taxes because of our other debt falling off the books, we'll literally be at the same debt load we're at right now, which, again, all things being equal, the taxes for debt would remain the same. There's, of course, other tax increases that occur. So that's really the main part of this chart, is to show our existing debt, where it trails off in 10 years. And while there obviously are significant increases with these projects, because of our declining debt, in 10 years we'll be right where we are now. So hopefully that's clear. I'm happy to answer questions on this before I go to the next one.
Yeah, so how does the Plymouth County retirement being fully funded work into this?
Yeah, so it really doesn't work into this at all. This is debt.
Yeah.
Right? So I guess maybe where I think you're going, I think I understand where you might be going. So in 10 years when the Plymouth County retirement's paid off, would we be able to reinvest some of the savings there to offset tax increases for here? So I'd have to really think that through some more. It's a good observation, but it's not like specifically linked to this, but there's going to be opportunities once we're fully funded, because we'll have significant excess levy capacity. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good question. But I want to really think through a comprehensive answer to that rather than just winging
And
it.
as well as Union Point, if they, you know.
Right, I
any
mean,
significant development there,
right.
so, okay. Just tossing that out there.
Yep. Any other questions on the existing and proposed debt? All right, so then I'll just quickly shift over to the other chart. Now, this one, I don't really want to show, but I feel like I need to, just to put all the information out there. So I'll show it to you, and then I'll kind of explain why it's a little bit confusing. Now, I put some labels in here, which are going to be hard to read, but I'll read them for you. So this is including everything we talked about in the previous graph, plus all our other debt, which could include things like debt in the water department, debt in this, which is an enterprise fund, self-sustaining, does not hit property taxes. Sewer debt, same thing, enterprise fund, self-sustaining, doesn't hit property taxes. CPA debt that we're proposing for the track, again, there's no increase in property taxes associated with that, but it will be debt. So here we're just trying to show literally everything. So this bottom orange there's like a brick sort of pattern in there. You'll see in here, this is a higher amount than the previous chart for our existing debt, because this also, not only does it include their prior debt exclusions, but it includes debt issued by the water department. So again, that doesn't hit property taxes, but it is, debt that has been issued. Now, the blue color here includes the $1.5 million in sewer debt that's been authorized and issued, the $12.5 million in sewer debt that's been authorized and not issued yet, plus $5.7 million of water debt that's similarly been authorized but not issued yet. So this is additional debt, again, that's not part of a debt exclusion. Then you have the two South Shore techs, which is the same as before. We still have the $2 million capital exclusion up here on the left for the fire station. And then this really kind of loud patterned bar on top includes the $26.1 million fire station project that we talked about in the previous one. Plus this adds in the additional $22 million of sewer debt that we're seeking authorization at town meeting for, which again is covered through the sewer enterprise fund, not through property taxes. And this includes the $2.25 million in debt that we're seeking authorization for the track. Similarly, no tax increase related to that, because that debt service will be paid from our recurring CPA revenue stream, which is already embedded in the tax rate. And if anybody's really paying attention and saying, why is it $2.25 million and not $3 million? I know Steve knows this because he's sitting in the second row. The reason is because the CPA committee has recommended and we've agreed to put $750,000 down, quote unquote, cash, and we're only going to borrow the $2.25 million. So that's why this debt doesn't reflect 3, it reflects just what we're actually going to borrow. So again, this is there's more debt shown here, and obviously, if we're going to draw that line like I did before, it's going to take a lot longer until we get to that point where we're at the same debt load. But again, it's all about what the purpose is of showing this. This, again, does not translate directly into property taxes, because there's a lot of other debt shown here that's paid through other revenue streams. So I hope that's helpful. I'll go back to this one, because this is the one I think that's probably going to be the most useful for folks. I'm happy to try to answer any questions if you have any. Hopefully that was clear. All right? Okay. I'll switch seats again.
So with that, other old business not reasonably anticipated?
I have none.
Okay. Any select board liaison updates?
I have some good news out of the Board of Health. They got I think it's a $438 $100,000 grant for, what is it called? Oh shoot, I'm forgetting what it is. It digitizes all of their papers, and it hires another part-time nurse to take care of things that our current nurse cannot. And she or he, whoever they hire, will be teaching health programs and things like that as well in Rockland. So 5 South Shore towns are going to share that money, and Delhi is going to apply to it again to get another, Rockland, I forget how much Rockland got out of that, but they got a significant chunk for this. And it's a yearly thing, so that's my update.
All right, any more? Next, we have the town administrator's report and correspondence.
Thanks, Tiffany. Just 2 things tonight. The first is our next community newsletter is going to be emailed out tomorrow morning around 10 a.m. And Courtney and I, working with our consultant, are focusing this one specifically on the town election. I'd encourage people to sign up on the town website for the newsletter. We'll print some hard copies and put them in our town offices. But we're proud of this. We think there's some really good information that's out there, including links and all kinds of very specific practical information encouraging people to vote. We're going to do another newsletter later in the month specifically for town meeting, where we'll touch on the different warrant articles. And then lastly, I know the board knows this, but just for the public's benefit, the governor just signed a bill last Friday that extends the ability for boards and committees, what they call public bodies, to continue having remote meetings, Zoom meetings, hybrid meetings where some are in person, some are remote. They've extended that for 2 more years while the legislature works on what a permanent solution might be. So we're very pleased about that, because that gives really needed flexibility for a lot of boards and committees. That's all I have.
Great. Next, we have the select board comments. Comments and opinions expressed by individual members do not necessarily reflect the views of the select board and are the opinions and comments of only the individual member. And I would like to begin the comments. Usually I'm the last comment, but tonight I'm the first. And with this, I would like to dedicate this moment to have a special thank you to our select board member, Donna Shortell. And I am going to read this just because I want to make sure that I do it right. But tonight we commemorate select board member Donna Shortell as we commemorate her last meeting as a select board member today. On behalf of this Rockland Select Board, I want to express our sincere gratitude for your years of service and dedication to our town as a select board member, town clerk, treasurer, and in the schools. Your insights, hard work, and commitment to making Rockland a better place. We will miss having you as a colleague and a member of the board, and we want to thank you. With that, select board member O'Loughlin, comment?
Thank you, Chairperson Needham. Donna and I had a good conversation last week on the phone, and I expressed to Donna how valuable she's been to me over my time back to the Finance Committee, and she was still the actually the second chair in the clerk's office, and she worked her way up, and the work that she did there was really groundbreaking in the sense that she modernized the department, and that was her goal, was to streamline and modernize that department, and she did a great job at that. And Donna, John Clifford stole my thunder a little bit with your dry sense of humor and your quirkiness. It's
Come on, I'm sarcastic.
Extremely, which is great. Which I love it, because I had a great conversation with you, and then I feel like you drove by me the other day and you gave me the dirtiest look ever. I'm like, that's Donna. That's it. Like, you might have flipped me off even. I couldn't even tell. But that's just how you are, and I expect nothing less, because you're a Rockland girl through and through, right? And that's people that know that what that means, they know what that means. All right, you're tough as nails, and you've always been a bulldog, and you've been a voice of reason at a lot of times, and I hope that you've learned half as much from me that I've learned from you, because you'd be well done, well served. So thank you for all your support over the years.
Select Board Member Elliott?
I'm going to start with my regular announcements, then I'll talk about Donna, because I know I won't be able to talk about it after. First of all, I want to congratulate the Drama Club on yet another successful musical, SpongeBob the Musical. I was not sure what to expect going in, but once again, they managed to pull it off. It was very entertaining, and I'm always amazed at how much talent exists here in Rockland with regard to the arts. Secondly, town election. Get out and vote. Local elections is where the rubber meets the road, and you get the most bang for your buck with regard to having your vote matter. So, as Doug mentioned, we have a bunch of opportunities, early voting, basically starting Wednesday through the following Wednesday, if town hall's open, early voting's open, and then an additional one on the Saturday ahead of the election. Get out and, learn about the different candidates, learn about the fire station, and make sure you hear, make your voices heard. I don't know, surprised this is gonna be this hard, but, Donna, when we were talking back there, I mentioned how we kind of got off to a rough start. For those who don't know, we ran against each other for treasurer 13 years ago. And it got a little, contentious, because shockingly, I can kind of be difficult sometimes. I know that's going to come to a shock to a lot of people, but, we could quickly put it behind us, and we became colleagues, and I'm proud to call you my friend, and I do have a great deal of respect for you. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Child?
Yeah, I just wanted to make an announcement, and then I'll do my Donna comments as well. Tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., the Sarcastic Swine in Abington is hosting a free veterans breakfast at is it the American Legion? I think it's the American Legion in Abington. So all the veterans out there, typically it was Martin's that had it, but Martin's had a fire, so they all pulled together and collaborated, and they're still having it tomorrow at 9:30 at the American Legion in Abington. So, and I wish you all the best, Donna.
Thank you.
Happiness, health. I hope you get to travel a bit.
Thank you.
And you really have, by kind of kicking me under the tables.
Added a little spice.
Yeah. And I appreciate all your knowledge about the elections, and like tonight, you're right there. So, all the best.
Thank you.
All the best. Thank you.
No, and I've learned so much from you, and I'm very grateful to have had the opportunity to get to know you and to serve alongside you. And with that, it's your turn to have your comment.
Oh boy, buckle up.
Take a breath.
I was going to write it down, and then I thought, no. Okay. I want to thank everyone in this town who has taken the time to invest in this town. I never intended to be a public figure. It's not me. I fell into it. I saw someplace where I thought I could help. And I thank you for those people who decided to back me and believe in me. Much more than I believed in myself. And I did run against John. And I got to know him afterwards and thought, it's not such a bad guy. And we have become friends. And I thank you for trusting me.
Of course.
I thank everyone here. I thank anyone who sees this for taking the time to see beyond the roughness. I'm like a diamond in the rough. Some people don't find the diamond, but I thank you for investing the time. I thank you for having the faith that I could support you on the road to where we are now. Tonight is bittersweet. I know that I came into this always, every time I've approached something, saying, I think I can do a good job. I hope that you have the feeling that I did a good job. I thank you all. I'm not going to cry, so I'm going to stop. But I do. I thank each and every person out there, even the one who walked in after the selectmen's election and congratulated my husband on being elected as a selectman.
He's been the mayor for years.
Everybody's known his name for years, and I've been Larry's wife. So maybe going forward now, I can have my own name, and I will go forward as Donna. But I thank you all. And please go and vote in the next election, because it is so important. We have 12,000 voters in this town. Please show up. Let people know that when they're sitting in this seat, that they have the confidence of the people in this town. It is so important. And now I'll shut up. Thank you.
Thank you. With that said, session per MGL, and we're going to have a roll call vote, but per MGL, Chapter A, 21A7, review and approval of executive session minutes, per MGL 30A, 21A3, national opiate litigation, roll call vote, select board member, not to reconvene, select board member O'Laughlin.
Motion to enter executive session, yes.
Thank you.
Second.
All those in favor? Well, I'm just gonna do it. Select board member, whatever,
Yes.
everybody. O'Laughlin.
April
Select
Fools.
board member
Yes, I figured I'd give the
Eller.
motion first.
Thank you. So we, yeah, we have the motion, we have the second. Select board member O'Laughlin, yes.
The third time, yes.
Select board member Eller.
The second time,
Yeah. Select board member Shortle.
Yes, for the last
Vice,
time.
For the last time.
Vice Chair Child.
Yes.
All right, and that's unanimous. Good night, everybody.